Hey there, and welcome to another revenge story from Reddit Chronicles. Make sure to like and subscribe if you enjoy these videos. My wife had a year-long affair that I discovered. Trying to reconcile with me, I'm still undecided. Greetings to one and all. This may turn out to be rather lengthy. From my friend's house, where I'll be staying for at least a few days before moving on to a motel for some time, I'm sending this message to you. Unfortunately, I found the existence of this sub after experiencing something I never in a million years would have imagined happening to me in the first place. My wife of 3 years has been having an affair with a coworker of hers for a year, and I have discovered it. I know him personally. She left her Gmail account on her laptop, and I discovered it through this. I had absolutely no intention of examining her email. I simply happened to see it there, and the text drew my attention. After that, I checked her phone to make sure everything was still in order. I'm not going to lie. I was completely taken by surprise by this. We had, or at least had, a good relationship. We were regularly physical with one another, never got really upset with one another. We were thinking about starting a family in the next year or two, now that I have a well-paying job and have made significant success in my personal life. I wasn't at all suspicious about what was going on. She was clever. She appears to have done a good job of concealing her identity. She never came home late at night, never behaved aloof or cold toward me. She never had an intimate relationship with me. She never expressed any dissatisfaction with her relationship at any point. I had no notion there was anything wrong. Otherwise, I would have tried to remedy it if I had known. I learned via her texts and emails that they frequently got together during their lunch breaks, or they left work early and went to a hotel or motel for the night. The other gentleman is not married, but he does have a long-term relationship with another woman. So far, I haven't told her anything, and I haven't spoken to the other person. The day before yesterday, I took the day off work, left a note on the table for my wife, and headed to my friend's house. I told him everything. Sure enough, she returned home. She made a number of phone calls and texts. After a while, I didn't respond, but when I did, she burst into tears and begged me to forgive her, telling me it was a silly mistake and that she would go to any lengths to make things right. We talked for a bit, but I didn't say anything really noteworthy, and I haven't determined what I'm going to do next. True, I adore her, but betrayal of any type makes me sick to my stomach, and this is right up there with the worst. The thing is, when I was 18, I slipped into a deep and debilitating depression from which I had to fight my way out. It was the most difficult thing I've ever done. It took me 3 years, and the only thing that helped was physical activity and boxing. And now I'm starting to feel myself falling back into that abyss. Even though I adore her, I harbor strong feelings of animosity toward her and the other guy at the same time. I'm wondering whether or not to confront the other person and cause him significant harm. My friend has recommended that I don't. I'm well aware that my emotions are in control of my actions right now, which is why I wanted to go away from my wife and our apartment for a time in order to allow logic to at least get a foothold on my thoughts. Seeing her cry will cause me to feel pity for her, which is something I don't want to experience. My logical side is telling me to divorce her right now, but I'm not sure I'm ready to make that decision. My thoughts have turned to whether I will ever be able to put my faith in her again, and I believe the answer is no. Here's the thing. I believe myself to be a fair person, and I'm always trying to see things from both sides of the coin when possible. In my search for infidelity-related forums, I stumbled across the subreddit Our Adultery. I assumed it would be similar to this sub, but I immediately discovered it was the polar opposite of that. I did, however, look through a few of the messages in the hopes of better understanding my wife's reasons. The majority of the posts were about the excitement of trying something new, the fulfillment that came with it, and the attempting to escape the unhappiness in their marriage, among other things. The point is, and I'm not just saying this, I can't see how any of those issues could have arisen. Despite the fact that my wife has always been clever and mature, I find it difficult to comprehend what has happened to her. It was over the phone that she continuously stated that it meant nothing to her and that she regrets it more than anything. But then, why are you doing it? When I inquired as to the reason, she simply stated that she didn't know, and that it was a lapse in judgment among other things. A slip in judgment that lasted a year? I'm beginning to doubt everything and wondering whether I squandered years of my life for nothing. I'm not sure whether I'll ever be able to trust another woman again. Right now, I can't see myself ever being in a committed romantic relationship again. People aren't perfect, and I'm not stupid enough to believe they are. But what's the point of making a commitment to someone if you're just going to find someone else. That's all there is to it. I needed to get all this off my chest somewhere, even if it meant posting it online. I'm not sure what my next step will be, but for the time being, I don't think the marriage will last. Her mother, whom I adore, has phoned me 3 times, but I haven't returned her phone calls. I haven't told anybody except my close buddy with whom I'm currently staying. I do have screenshots of the emails and texts that were sent between them as evidence in the event that I need it. The short version is as follows. I discovered that my wife had been having an affair for a year through emails and texts. I sent her a letter informing her of all that had happened, and then I left to stay with a friend. I haven't come across her yet. Even if she is hysterical and pleading with me to stay together and solve things, it is still too soon for me to make a sensible decision. I think all I'm looking for is some input, advice from more senior, experienced individuals. Edit. Thank you so much for taking the time to read and comment on my post. I truly appreciate it. A few points that have come up repeatedly. I decided not to fight the other guy. It was just my emotions that got the better of me at the time. I'm going to obtain an STD test and will tell her to do the same. There will be no compromise on this. At the moment, I'm leaning toward divorce because I can't ever see myself looking at her in the same way after this experience. I'll need some more time to think about it, and I'll need to have a lengthy conversation with her. Her mother has subsequently messaged me, pleading me to help contact her daughter. She is a wonderful lady who has always been motherly to me during my time knowing her, and I intend to contact her as soon as possible to speak with her before I talk to my wife. Thank you so much to each and every one of you. I truly despise the fact that there are so many comments because it suggests that so many of you, both men and women, have experienced something similar. Posting this here and telling my experience is assisting me in letting go of everything, and I will inform you as soon as there is an update. Quick update. In order to reconnect with my mother-in-law, I went for a lengthy stroll the day before yesterday. My conversation with her didn't go into detail, but I did indicate that her daughter had been seeing someone else behind my back for a significant amount of time. She was obviously distraught, but she did not attempt to coerce me into staying with my wife, which was a blessing. We talked for a while and she requested me to contact my wife, which I agreed to, but I stated that I'll only do it when I'm ready to speak with someone. I was walking across the bridge on my way back to my friend's house, and I'm not going to lie, there was a brief moment when I considered jumping from the bridge. I convinced myself that it would make things a whole lot easier. What our minds can conjure up is quite amazing, and I was able to let that concept go almost as quickly with a giggle. I'm thinking of sitting down with my wife tonight or tomorrow night and having a conversation about it all. In fact, I'm worried my mind is already made up, that I'll be asking for a divorce because I haven't been able to envision a scenario in which I won't be resentful towards her even if we stay together for a while. I'll give her an opportunity to speak all she feels she has to say before telling her what I've decided. I'll post an update once we've talked, I'm guessing, depending on what happens.
Let's move on to my thoughts and advice for the person that is dealing with this problem. The narrator's experience is undeniably heartbreaking. The betrayal of trust in a committed relationship can be emotionally devastating, and the shock and emotional turmoil they are going through are entirely understandable. Their initial response of seeking emotional distance by staying with a friend is a wise choice. It allows them to clear their mind and make decisions more rationally rather than acting impulsively based on their strong emotions. The narrator's internal struggle between their love for their spouse and their disgust and anger over the affair is evident. This inner turmoil reflects the complexity of human emotions and the profound impact that infidelity can have on a person's mental and emotional well-being. The fact that the narrator is considering confronting the other person involved in the affair and potentially causing harm is concerning. It's important for them to prioritize legal and non-violent ways to address the situation. The story also highlights the importance of open and honest communication in any relationship. The lack of communication between the narrator and their spouse, as well as the secrecy surrounding the affair, has led to this painful situation. Ultimately, the narrator's decision about whether to continue the marriage or pursue a divorce is a deeply personal one. It's crucial for them to prioritize their own emotional well-being and consider what will bring them the most happiness and peace in the long run. In conclusion, this story serves as a reminder of the emotional toll that infidelity can take on individuals and the importance of seeking support and guidance during such challenging times. It's a complex situation that calls for careful consideration and emotional healing. I wish you the best of luck moving forward. Thank you all for taking the time to listen to today's stories. If you enjoyed listening, please feel free to like and subscribe if you haven't already. Also, comment below with your thoughts on what happened. Take care.